TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. That is what everyone is talking about. And there's a reason for that. It's what Gary Vee likes to call underpriced attention. What that basically means is when the amount of people that are on the app wanting to consume content is greater than the amount of creators, then the level of organic, natural reach that you can get is insane. Even if you are brand new and you have never made a TikTok before, it is completely possible for you to go viral and to grow a following quickly. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my story of the 30-day experiment that I ran on TikTok, how it went, what I learned, how I ended up going viral, and how many followers I was able to grow. Real quick before we jump in though, stay to the end because I have a very exciting announcement. I just confirmed that I'm going to be interviewing a famous TikToker here on my channel next week. So stay tuned to the end to not only find out who it is, but to hear a little bit more about what we're going to be talking about in the interview. And also, if you are interested in seeing that interview and seeing more TikTok content, please do subscribe so that you don't miss it. Okay, now let's dig into my story. The reason that I really wanted to share this and how I was able to get 20,000 followers in my first month on TikTok is not because that's the craziest success story out there. In fact, it's not. There are tons of stories out there where people got 1 million followers in like a week or something insane. But I want to share what I learned today because I think that what I did and the amount of growth that I had is actually attainable for the average person. Because honestly, that's what I would say I am. Actually pretty average. I'm not a good dancer. I'm not even that good of a lip syncer. I'm not really that funny. And even though I don't think I'm like bad looking, I'm not some supermodel. Oh, and I'm 30. So there's that. So I really do think that the level of growth that I saw in that first month is quite replicatable and is something that you could do too. Okay, so what did I do that month and what was my approach? The very first thing I want to talk about is consistency. I decided to just show up every single day, even if I didn't think I had any ideas, even if I wasn't really feeling it, and make 2 to 3 videos a day. Now you might be saying, oh wow, how insightful, I've never heard that before. But truly, you would be amazed how many people don't actually do it. So even if I didn't have any ideas, I would just open the app and start scrolling until I found a sound that I liked or a new trend or something that I wanted to recreate. And then I would just do it. And ultimately, in the long run, I don't think that it's the best idea to just sit on the app, scrolling, try to find an idea to make. But I do think it's very, very important, especially in your first 30 days on the app, or with anything you do, to set up habits. And it's really amazing what happens when you do that. Now, I just talked about inspiration and maybe not having any ideas. And so the funny thing about showing up every day and being consistent is that in itself often sparks the creativity. If someone's on the sidelines and they're just kind of saying like, I don't have any great ideas, I'm not really sure what to post. Once you get into the habit of posting and you become kind of immersed in the culture of the app and you're seeing things and you can spot trends and do things, the whole process just becomes a whole lot easier. Before I move on from this point, I just want to emphasize again, once you get in the habit of doing, you will be shocked at how many ideas you have and how it keeps just flowing and coming to you. And trust me on this, I have been making content in various capacities for years, and nothing sparks creativity more than just getting into the daily grind of it. Which leads me to the next thing I did. Once you have all these ideas that are starting to come to you and you're really getting excited about it, how are you going to organize it? I actually used an app called Trello, which lets me keep things organized by various categories and different things. But what I would find is that sometimes I would get an idea, but maybe I was at work and I couldn't really make it. Or what actually happens more commonly is as I'm falling asleep, I'll have some idea come to me. And let me tell you, you think you will remember, and you never do. I mean, unless you are like some crazy superhuman, and maybe it's just me, but honest to God, write it down. When you have an idea, jot it down, and then you can come back to it later to create it. So the next thing that I did, my next tip, is actually, I would say, counter to what a lot of other people are saying when they're giving advice about TikTok. A lot of people tell you to batch your work in drafts, like maybe just spend a few hours on a Saturday, make 15 TikToks, and that'll help you be consistent because then you can just post them throughout the week. I love batching. Like, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against batching. I do it on my YouTube channel, I do it on my Instagram, I do it in other social media platforms, but it does not work on TikTok. Can I repeat that? It does not work on TikTok because things are moving so fast. And so if you see a trend starting to emerge that you like, or a sound that you think is cool, or you just have a fun idea for a TikTok, the sooner that you can actually get that TikTok to market, get it on the app, the better. Because let's say you batch that TikTok on a Saturday and then you don't post it until Tuesday or Wednesday. By then, that sound or that trend or that idea is probably completely oversaturated, or maybe even old news by then. So the more that you can just get used to creating TikToks on a daily basis and closing the gap between when you have the idea to when you actually post the video, I think the better results you'll see. Okay, now let's get into the nitty gritty of exactly where those 20,000 followers came from and how that happened. Even though I really do believe that the key factor to success is just that daily grind and being consistent, having a viral video will absolutely skyrocket your growth. And yes, that did happen to me. So I had a few videos that went what I would say semi-viral. They had 500,000 views, 1 million views, 1.5 million views. And obviously, the more views a video get, generally the more followers you're going to get from it. But I've noticed a really big difference between that kind of semi-viral point to when you have an ultra viral video and how parabolic that growth can become. So I'll tell you the story of my mega viral video because I actually got about 7,000 followers overnight from that one video, which clearly helped my overall numbers. There's basically this trend going around for the genie in a bottle song where people were like putting the water bottle close to the camera and then getting behind them and like pretending to you know, kind of go into the bottle. And so I did my own little unique take on that, and it ended up getting like 9 million views. And like I said, that's 7,000 followers overnight. So now that we've established that going mega viral can obviously help your growth, let's dissect that video to really take out the nuggets and lessons of what I did and what contributed to the virality of it so that you can apply that to your own content. So there's really two main takeaways from that video. Number one is to not just recreate a trend, but to do your own take on it. Generally speaking, unless you're one of the first people to hop on a trend, you're not gonna go really viral from just recreating the same thing everyone else is doing. And honestly, by the time you see it in your For You page, it's probably too late to do that anyway. So when you see a trend emerging, ask yourself if there's some way you can make it funnier or put a surprise twist on the end or do something a little bit different that might catch people's attention. So in the case of my video, everyone else was disappearing into a water bottle, and so I thought it'd be funny to disappear into a wine glass. The second lesson that you can take from this, and again, I am going to say this until I'm blue in the face, consistency and showing up, because my idea was not to dance on the edge of a wine glass like that. My first idea was just to disappear into a wine glass. I thought that could be kind of funny. It's an okay idea. It's not like hugely unique from the trend, but I'm like, oh, that's a little bit different. That could be kind of funny. I honestly had such a hard time making it. It just didn't look good. And in my many frustrating attempts to disappear into this wine glass, I noticed on one of them that it almost looked like I was standing on the edge of the wine glass. And I'm like, huh, that's kind of interesting. That's actually maybe a little bit funny. I'm going to do that on purpose and see how that goes. And so I didn't start with the idea that ended up going viral. I started with a much more mediocre idea, but because, again, I showed up, I was making it, I was in it, the better idea came to me while I was in the process of creating. I really hope that you guys found this helpful. It's been really fun to just experiment with all of this. I think that TikTok is honestly the fastest growing platform in the entire world. And if you're watching this video right now and you're learning how to grow a following on TikTok, you are already leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the world. And so I know it might feel like, oh, I'm too late. Like Charlie has how many million followers? What's this? What's that? it's not too late. The app is still exploding and you have so much potential. If I can go viral and grow a following, trust me, you can too. But now before we go, I did promise a special announcement at the end. So I'm going to be interviewing my friend Fax CEO, which if you don't know his story or if you haven't seen his account, you have to check it out. What is so interesting about him is that he actually got 750,000 followers on TikTok in 1 week. 1 week, and he now has over 1.3 million followers. So in the beginning I talked about how, you know, there's these stories of people that do crazy things, but that's not very many people. Well, I have a friend that did that, and so I'm really excited. I'm going to be bringing him on my show and interviewing him and really picking his brain. So I got 2 takeaways for you. Number 1, if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please do so that you don't miss that interview. And secondly, let me know if you have any questions for him below. And if I actually end up using your question, then I will say your username in the video as well. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, please leave them for me below, and I would be more than happy to help.